welcome to GameMana again. Today we're going to be playing through Quarantine, which was a game for the 3DO. We're going to get through. We got some captured footage here for the 3DO. This is actually captured from the 3DO, and yeah, we'll play through it and see how I do it. Career as a post-apocalyptic cab driver. So a little bit about the game here. It was released on PC in 1994, and also released on the 3DO a year later, 1995. The PlayStation, the Saturn, they had their own versions of the game. They called them something different. I think the Sega Saturn was Death Throttle, and PlayStation was Hard Rock Cab. I think Hard Rock Cab. But this is Quarantine for the 3DO. So as you see, playing through it a little bit here. You know, it hasn't really aged too well, but I gotta say, there's a lot of people have a lot of fond memories about this game, like really fond memories. It's kind of, for console gamers especially, it's kind of like that first taste of like, not only an open world in like an RPG sense, but like it's open world and with vehicles. It never really been done before. No one had ever really seen it like this. So yeah, what I'm going to do here, I think I'd like to actually read the plot. I wouldn't usually read from a website, but I'm going to read the plot because I think it adds a lot to explain what's going on. I think anybody who's watching these clips online and doesn't know what it is, they're going to be like, you know, what's with all this like pixelated bad graphics? Like, what's the 3DO? Like, there's still a lot of kids out there. They don't even know what this is. So I'm going to read the plot because it adds a little bit to the game. So. Okay, here's the plot. Like today's Detroit, Kemo City was known for the manufacture of hover cars, meeting the country's demands for transportation until 2022. Over time, however, Kemo's crime rate had risen so far that the economy collapsed and the city descended into disorder. Criminals roamed the streets in armored hover cars, terrorizing the citizens of Kemo without fear of retribution. In 2029, Omnicorp promised city officials that it would clean up Kemo and return it to normal. The offer was accepted, and the corporation began the construction of a massive wall around the city under the guise of a defensive measure. The wall was completed 3 years later, and the only exit was sealed shut, turning Kemo into a massive prison city for all inside, criminal or otherwise. The outraged population reacted violently, and the city degenerated. 10 years later, in 2043, Omnicorp decided to test the behavior, altering chemical hydrogen or gene 344 on Kemo. The chemical was supposed to pacify the citizens of Kemo and was distributed through the city's water supply. Unfortunately, Omnicorp failed to predict the chemical's reaction to the stagnant water, resulting in massive brain damage and insanity in the many of Kemo's citizens. More than half of the population became crazed killers overnight. You're pretty much playing Drake Edgewater, a 21st century cab driver, and one of the lucky few unaffected by the spreading virus. He's desperate to escape the city alive, driving his 52 checkered hover cab armed with the assortments of headlight-mounted weaponry. He delivers passengers and packages for what money he can make to upgrade his vehicle and escape. So that gives you a little bit of an idea about the game and what's actually you know, what's supposed to be happening here. But you know, I mean, I think at the time I thought, like, this is amazing. I remember playing this with my buddy and thinking, you know, like what can't we do? We can do anything we want. And I think the story adds a little bit to it to give you an idea, but ultimately you're just kind of going around, you're picking up people, you're a cab driver, you're picking people up, you're trying to get money, and likely upgrading your weapons and abilities. So, not so much abilities, but the ability to do different things. Like if you upgrade your machine gun, you can actually shoot out the side of your vehicle, and which you saw a little earlier from the shots, that you can actually change your view and shoot out the side, kind of like Road Warrior style. So that was always cool to be able to do these things and things to look forward to. And ultimately, it puts in perspective why the people are just kind of driving around in hover cars shooting at each other. They're absolutely crazy because they've literally gone nuts because of a chemical reaction put in the water to try and pacify them. So I think a lot of times when you start to learn a little bit about the lore of the game or the you know, I think the story, it puts things into perspective, and it makes you kind of understand why things are happening. Because if you just look at this from the outside, you take it like almost realistic. I mean, how could you take it realistically? But let's say you did. What the frig is going on here? Hover cars? Hover cars and people shooting each other, going crazy, and people still standing on the sides of the street saying, "Can you take me somewhere?" You know, like. It's a little nuts, but these people have brain damage, according to this. The chemical reaction didn't go so well, so. Yeah, so if you take that all in, you know, there's a relatively enjoyable game here. I mean, clearly, again, much like some of the other games we played here, I'm not very good at this. I suck. I mean, I was good when I was a kid. I played a little more, but this is literally the first time I popped it in ages, so. Then I think the reason why I'm even doing that though is that's part of the fun, is seeing that, like, how bad you are when you're popping this in. So yeah, I think that's kind of just something I wanted to do. I just wanted to see how poor I was. Plus, if anybody watches these videos, you know, you're gonna be able to comment, like, tell me what you think. Like, did you play Quarantine 2? Tell me what that's all about. I don't know anything about it. Was it better than this one? Should I try and do a video? Should we do a video here? Like, I don't know. But I think right now, where am I doing here? Oh, I'm dropping someone off. Okay, dropping someone off. I mean, the frame rate, it's smooth at some sections, like relatively smooth, but for the most part, when you start to go too quick, I mean, it just can't handle it. It's like, look, it's really tough to get a grip on aiming properly, stopping, and getting a grip on the controls. There's no depressing of buttons that have any kind of control over. It's just like button. It's like full throttle or no throttle. You know what I mean? And it stops on a dime. So here, this person's saying, okay, oh, I dropped him off, so I got a little money. Now, what I was thinking here is I'm going to be getting shot up pretty hard here, pretty quickly. And yeah, I wanted to try and get some money. I think I'd drive around here for another couple minutes. I wanted to get some money so I could go repair my vehicle. I think you can upgrade your vehicle at the repair place. I don't think I had enough money to really do that. You need to drop off quite a few people to really start buying things. But yeah, that was my plan. I was gonna go around, shoot people, see if just try and remember some of the things I remember when I was a kid. Like, do people drop anything? Like, do they drop money if you blow up their vehicles? Do you get money if you blow up their vehicles? Like, I wasn't really paying attention too much to that. I was just kind of going around. But one thing I really noticed that I had a problem with this game is every time you get something, you get like a fare, or you have a waypoint, so to speak, where it tells you when you need to turn. It always runs you into the wall. So we know why they built the wall according to the plot, but every time I have to go somewhere, it puts me right into the wall, and then you got to go around. And a lot of times with the fares, you have a time limit, or you have some jackass trying to shoot you in the ass, right? So I found myself getting rather frustrated with that. You're going to see that towards the end of this clip, that I go into the map and I make a waypoint for the repair shop, and I go quickly trying to get out of there because I'm really low on health. And as you can see right there, I got like, what, 9 health here? 8 or 9 health. So I'm trying to get there as quick as possible, but I run into the damn wall, and it's telling me to go straight, but the wall is right in front of me, so I got to figure out how to go around it with like no view distance, you know, and then who wants to go right back to the map? So maybe that's a little bit nitpicky, but I ran over every bloody mine I could see. I don't know why. But yeah, okay, there's the view changes there. Okay, look, 2 health. I think I'm hitting the map here any second. Right here, I think. Come on now. Yeah, right around this corner. I tried to do like a pull over. The controls are a little bit not very good. So I went into the wrong menu. Trying to go into the map menu here. And here it goes. It loads up here. There. Now you can flip around to the different areas, and you can select what you want. And if you just hit A on that, it'll literally give you the waypoint for where we're trying to go here. Which is, I mean, we're back in 1995. It's pretty cool that it's even got this. I don't want to be too hard on it. But overall, I didn't really enjoy my time with this too much going into it again. Not as much as I did when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I couldn't put this down. I was playing it constantly. And that's what I see a lot of the comments from. You see here, I run into the wall. Telling me to go straight, turn right, no. Yeah, turn right there, no. It's a bloody wall, so okay, so I crashed hard, but, you know. If you like the game, comment. Otherwise, you know, I didn't really enjoy it too much, but maybe I'll give it another chance.